Hello, my name is Sally Gimmon, and I'm the owner of the trustisyou.com and also with a class on the great discovery. It's my first and last name, www.sallygimmon.com. I'm doing this video about capital gains. So few people are paying too much in capital gains. This is why I want to teach the Spendthrift Trust to as many investors, because short-term capital gains are between 7% to 37% on short-term capital gains if you're a forex investor, a crypto investor, wholesaling, fix and flipping, tax liens, or auction houses. Long-term capital gains currently are either 15 or 20% if you're selling an investment property or a business or a baseball card. There is past legislation back in November of 2021. It got passed by Congress that people making more than $300,000 a year will pay 40% in capital gains. Yikes! So I'm going to teach people about this, the Spendthrift Trust and what capital gains are and how you can save them. I had a question today about selling someone's house. If you are married and have lived in the house for 2 of the last 5 years, you will be able to claim up to $500,000 in capital gains. If you're single, it's only $250,000. I do have a client that had a house down in Tampa Bay. It was a townhouse. They bought for $350,000 and sold. We're going to sell for $1.2 million. They lived there for 7 years and it went up that much. They did get the Spendthrift Trust because they knew they were going to have to pay capital gains. But they got moved up to Cleveland and they bought a beautiful mansion for only $200,000. The rest of that money they're now real estate investors. So let's go over this. With the Spendthrift Trust, it's legal. It's in the IRS tax code 643B. It comes from England, way back when King Henry VIII started the Church of England. Yep, that king, the one who chopped off his wives' heads. Hey, he decided he was going to start a new church so he could divorce his wives, and he went to go tax the lords and ladies of England. They went further back into history to the Magna Carta, said, no, 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 King Henry VIII, you can't do this. Our current tax code went into effect February of 1913. It was only supposed to be around for a few years. Unfortunately, we got involved with World War I, and the tax code has stayed ever since then. The only thing the tax code has done is grown and grown and grown and grown. So with the super rich families, the Rockefellers, DuPonts, the Carnegies, and the Kennedys made sure they could save taxes. Well, if they can save taxes, we all should be able to save taxes. I work for a private law firm that has a copyright on the Benson Financial Trust. Paul Benson was a Harvard law professor 76 years ago. He wrote 5 different trusts: the business trust, the beneficial trust, the senior trust, the charitable trust, and the mineral trust. Today, we're talking about the beneficial trust and capital gains. I'm starting with this because this is how I found out about the Spendthrift Trust. October 2018 was a watershed month for me. I was working as a Medicare broker in Phoenix, Arizona, and my oldest nephew was getting married in Charlotte. If you know anything about Medicare, there's open enrollment from October 7th through December 5th. He was getting married October 28th. Yes, in the middle of open enrollment. I requested the Friday before the wedding and the Monday after the wedding to have off because I had family coming in from all over the world. I was denied. I had the time saved. I was denied. 2 days after that, my brand new 3-week-old car. I'm driving to work 7 o'clock in the morning because I'm a Medicare broker. I'm on a major east-west road, Indian School Road in Phoenix. Second car through in the green light. Some bozo runs a red light, T-bones me on the passenger side. Thank God I'm not injured, but totals my car. Well, silly Sally has a paperwork for gap insurance sitting on her kitchen table because she's got 4 weeks to fill it out. And it's only week 3. I'm upside down by $8,000 and had to get a second car. Not very good. The third thing that happened, my mom and dad, who lived in Goodyear, Arizona, 25 miles west of Phoenix, drove to Charlotte for the wedding. The Thursday before the wedding, I get a phone call from my dad saying my mom's in the emergency room. They're not sure what's wrong and to be prepared for this. I worked until 8 o'clock the Friday before the wedding, drove myself to Sky Harbor Airport, took a red eye to Charlotte. Family tradition, you get picked up, you go to IHOP for breakfast, and we went to the hospital to see my mom. We walked in, the priest was giving her last rites. She ended up having septic of the blood. She was on a ventilator for 13 months, in a hospital for 15 months. She came home safe. Well, because of all this happening, I called my friend Glenn, who had introduced me to a real estate group, and I said, I need to change my life. He's like, Sally, meet some real estate investors. Let's get started. So in 2019, I wholesaled 7 bank-owned properties nationwide. Woohoo! Sally was a rock star in her group. I paid off $184,000 in debt. Woohoo! Sally was debt free. And I knew about capital gains. I had $50,000 sitting in my bank account. What I didn't figure out, or what I did not know, was the tax brackets. It goes from 10% to 37%. There's 7 different layers. My tax bracket went from 22% to 24%. All of a sudden, I owed the federal government $97,000. When my CPA called me, it was April 2020, the start of COVID. Nobody knew what was going to be happening. I had $50,000 there. He was going to set me up on a payment plan. So what I did was take out a HELOC on my paid off house. Defeats the purpose of being paid off, but I had money to do some real estate. So I still working as a Medicare broker, working from home. So I'm not commuting an hour to work in the morning and an hour at home. So I have plenty of time to research the Rockefeller Spendthrift Trust. It's called The Office. I read an article about that. And if they can save taxes, Sally wants to know how. My background, I'm competitive intelligence, so I know how to research. In September of 2020, I started both my business and Beneficial Spendthrift Trust with the law firm. I requested to teach this to my real estate group in Phoenix because other real estate investors need to know how to save short-term and long-term capital gains. I'm also a student of Thinking into Results, and my Thinking into Results coach, Susan Ma, said to me, I'm playing too small and I need to start my own business. So in March of 2022, I started thetrustisyou.com. My goal is to help as many US investors understand how they can save taxes. And today it's about capital gains. Short-term capital gains are on any profits if you are a crypto investor, a forex investor, wholesaling, fix and flipping, tax liens, or auction houses. My first property in the trust was a bank-owned reverse mortgage that was going to auction. I paid $20,000 for it. I was going to go to auction starting at $50,000. I knew my tax rate was 24%. So that $30,000 spread in between, I'd have to pay $7,110. I'm like, oh, I bought it with my LLC. I did 2 simple bill of sales, put it into the trust. Middle of COVID, because my mom's still in North Carolina, I'm in Phoenix. I was going to use that to travel back and forth with. When it finally went to auction on August 28th of 2021, it went up to over $64,000. Woohoo! Sally made $44,000 without lifting a hammer. More importantly, that first property alone, I saved $10,353 in short-term capital gains on that property. That money I used to buy more properties, and I've never looked back. Since September of 2020, I've done 28 wholesale deals. I have 12 notes. I have 3 seller financing houses, and I do have 2 rentals. My goal is to help as many US investors, forex investors, and crypto investors save on capital gains. Now, you don't pay capital gains until you sell something at a profit. So please, if you have crypto and you're not doing anything with it, you don't need the trust until you plan to sell it. Long-term capital gains are more than a year and affect you if you're selling a business, if you're selling an investment property, or if you're selling a baseball card. One of the businesses I help, I work with business brokers to help their clients save capital gains. It was a family restaurant. Jim and his 2 brothers built this restaurant 42 years ago. They were selling it for $3 million, everything included. So it started at 0. They're going to sell it for $3 million. 15% is $450,000. 20% is $600,000. Jim's 69. His wife Ann is 68. They started the trust. They won't have to pay these taxes April 15th of 2025. They have 6 figures for their retirement. Talk about life-changing. The business broker who referred them to me was paid, he has a JV agreement with me. He got paid for that. The gentleman who bought the restaurant, it was going to be his 7th restaurant. He got the business trust. And again, Sam, the business broker, got paid on that. That's long-term capital gains. Another one of my clients, true story. Unfortunately, his son died. His son had passed away. All his baseball cards were up in the attic. I being a real estate investor, I'm going to buy his house because he's going into assisted living. These baseball cards, the boxes of baseball cards, they were never opened. They were Topps baseball cards, still had the gum in them, everything else. We didn't have one, but we had two Ken Griffey Jr. rookie cards. Do you realize a Ken Griffey Jr. Rookie card is worth $40,000? His son bought the Topps card. Let's call it $1. We used $1. It's probably a quarter. At 15%, he saved $7,000. At 20%, he saved $8,000 twice because we sold both baseball cards at different times for $40,000. This is what the Spendthrift Trust can do for you, save you thousands of dollars. Again, if you're married and selling a house, your personal house, you've lived there for 2 years out of 5 years, you don't have to worry about capital gains, anything up to $500,000. If you're single, it's $250,000. If it's more than that, please contact me. But you can contact me if you go out to my website, www.thetrustisusyou.com, or if you go out to the Great Discovery and download my class, Stop Paying U.S. Taxes Legally. There's going to be contact information there. Every U.S. investor, I don't care, a real estate investor, crypto investor, or a forex investor, needs to know how they can save capital gains. If the rich can do it, we can do it. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you've learned something new. Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.